And hopefully that did it. Okay, awesome. So welcome to the round pen. If this is your first time here, and everybody, yeah, if this is, your 50th time here, you know what I'm going to say because I always say the same thing. If this is your first time here, congratulations and welcome. The Round Pen Live is just a place for professional facilitators to inspire innovative ideas. Who is the professional facilitators? Each of you that showed up on a Sunday. If you're Canadian or American, you probably got up really early this morning to watch some hockey. And this feels really late. If you're in Italy, I have no idea what time it is. We are an international group. And so congrats for showing up. But here's the thing. Who are the professional facilitators? They're all of you. They're each of you that show up. It's the 1% of the round pen that shows up live. And I always say fortune favors the bold, the brave, and the ones that show up. And so I do have a really, I think, phenomenal handout that you're going to get at the end. That I hope that you take the time afterwards to get into something comfy if you're not in already and just go through it. And so the year of the fire horse, how exciting, eh? Time to, like I say, shed what no longer serves you and move forward. And so that's really what we're going to do today is lean into that place. You probably have set a lot of goals in your life. Wouldn't it be nice to actually hit them this year? Anybody in the chat, wouldn't that be? Yeah, I see Sean putting her hand up. I know for myself, I got really tired of, setting goals that were going nowhere. And that's really where this work came from. So I'm hearing an amen to that. Yeah, let's jump into it. Enough of me talking. So, for those of you that don't know me, just quickly, my name's Tamara Cinnamon. I have spent my life in business, and I think really coaching, mentoring, leading teams, and entrepreneurs. And it's been a really thrilling ride. And today feels really powerful because this is work, this exact framework we do. I've changed the name of it many times over the years, but this is my original slide deck that I literally add horses to, whatever that is. Because when we started to set goals this way, the teams that I was leading was starting to get exponential results. It was looking completely different. And I love business. And I think for myself, the big piece with equine entrepreneurs is that each of you are out there because a horse changed your life. Each of you are out there to change the world in some way, in some piece, with the magic of the horse-human connection. And so I feel that this is the most powerful work. And so when we can work together and kind of from that place of collaboration over competition, we can spread this work, whether it's EAL or there was a clinical therapist, I think, on here, or psychotherapy, or if you just work with the magic of the horse-human connection, we all can be in this piece together. And the more that we can grow and the more that we can share and the more awareness in the world, the more each of us grow. So just a real quick little piece about me. So 5 easy ways to rock 2026. So again, this probably started in about 2015. I just changed the date every single year. And so for me, it's about what works. How do we keep it simple and how do we make it work so that you can grow your business? So the first piece I'm going to give you, and again, many of you will be able to finish this sentence. Treat your business like a business. It'll pay you like a business. Treat it like a hobby. It's going to cost you like a hobby. And when we're working with horses, it's a damn expensive hobby, isn't it? You're all here, you're all showing up on a Sunday. Maybe it's not a Sunday for you anymore. You could be doing something else. You could be out experiencing the magic with your horses yourself right now. You could be anywhere. And so I know you're on that side of wanting to build a business. And so understand, and I find with equine entrepreneurs, many of them, even hearing that word, which is why we called the company Equine Entrepreneur, was to kind of shock value a lot of people who feel that it's like, oh, I'm just doing this thing with horses. I know that there's something bigger, but I'm just not quite sure. You're the CEO of your business. Treat it like a business. When you show up with people, you know, do they, with conviction, know that you're running a business? Or is there a little side hobby that you're doing? Let's actually throw that in the chat. If we're being really honest about it right now, if you look back in the last year, number one being I'm totally at hobby level. I want to be higher, but if I get honest about it, I'm hobby. Or 10, like everybody in the world knows I'm serious about this. I know where I'm going and I'm treating this like a business. I'd like to know in the chat. And again, there is no bad answer. There's no wrong answer. I understand that number changes every day. But I think in this year, the fire horse, it's really important to get a gauge as to where you're at so we can really nail down and focus where you want to go. So let's get that chat going. Just real quickly, number one, I'm definitely treating it like a hobby, but I'm here to treat it like a business. And it's cost me like a hobby, right? Or I am seriously treating it like a business and maybe I need a little pivot or maybe a little change. So um yeah, I'm a businesswoman. This is not a side hustle. Yeah. How do you answer that question when people say, what do you do? Because it ain't about scripts. I'll tell you that. It's about conviction. And conviction comes when you realize that you're running a business and you're changing people's lives. So, what do we got in answers? And again, it totally doesn't matter. We got someone here to upscale their business. Great. Somebody else said, everyone knows I'm serious. I had a few clients already after just getting going in December. Amazing, Jennifer. That's exciting. Really, really exciting. 5 to 6, totally a business. Trying to start for 3 years. So I'm still in hobby brain. Bit of both, honestly. Love the word honestly because that's what we're doing here, right? Most people know I'm serious, but starting my plan. Good. Awesome. And again, doesn't matter where you are, matters what you're focused on and where you want to go this year. And so, as we get going here, yeah, hobby's not going to buy your farm. You're absolutely right. Life's kept at a hobby, but the shift is coming. Awesome. So before we talk about an expectation, I was hoping that wasn't going to come up right away. I want to talk about tolerance. And so I'm in a mastermind group of business entrepreneurs, and one of them said a couple weeks ago, and it nailed me between the eyes. You rise to the level you tolerate. That's powerful. Think about that. You rise to the level you tolerate. That was one of those moments I had to write it down. I literally have the sheet here. And it stuck with me. So I knew it had to be part of the piece. And so if you're going to set a new standard in 2026, you got to know the truth about the old. What's that truth in 2025 that you were tolerating? Was it distractions? Like it's a busy world out there, right? Like distractions are everywhere. So was it distractions? Was it the illusion of busy? Was it scrolling social media? Was it, I have no idea. I mean, there's 1,000 ways, but we all rise to the level we tolerate. So we all have a lot that we were tolerating last year, right? It could be avoidance, lack of structure, excuse, right? It can be excuse. I mean, I'm just not experienced enough. And so we tolerate a certain level of clients because I'm not experienced enough yet, or whatever that piece is. Does anybody, and if you do, I'd love to know in the chat, what's popping up for you? You rise to the level that you tolerate. What did you tolerate last year? Knowing where you're at is so important to kind of know that springboard point for yourself. And so I know for myself, I'll be really honest, we had a bit of we had an accident here with one of the animals a few weeks ago, and it's been really tough, I'll be honest. And so I've tolerated, I'll be really honest here, filling my mind with anything to keep off of it, right? And so avoidance, we'll go with avoidance, right? And so just sitting in scrolling or whatever that is, to not really face that, that kind of piece. And so I'll be honest that the last 6 weeks have been really tough in tolerance as well. They were going to be really tough anyways. But I didn't have an expectation of things going well. And so I tolerated in that place. Okay, so Lisa Davis saying toleration. Yeah. Relationships and imposter syndrome. Okay, this is so good, everybody. So important because again, the first step for me in the last 6 weeks, and that's honestly one of the reasons I was like, I got to kick my butt out to get going this year because I'm tolerating kind of mediocrity. Is it mediocrity or mediocrity? I always say the wrong one, but you know what I'm going with, right? And I was tolerating that space being filled because of probably the fear of what was going to be there if I didn't fill it. Okay. So it's just an honest place of where you are. So last year was a year of repeated loss and I tolerated surviving. Yeah. And I love that if I'm just being real. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And so this year then, okay, and so today, whatever it is, February 22nd or something like that, number one in rocking 2026 is having an expectation for 2026. Okay. And so if we talk about expectation in 2026, what do you want this year to look like? And I really hope you come back afterwards. I've got a great workbook for you. But if you don't have an expectation and you don't have an idea and a vision of what you want the year to look like, and don't worry, we're going to nail this like way down into how we're going to do it. We're just talking about rocking the year. If you don't have that expectation, that vision, that map kind of in your mind, guess what? Any road will lead you there. That's scary, right? Any road will lead you there if you don't know what you want the year to look like. Okay. And so this is about really, grabbing life by the horns. And so we're not going to do it right now, but I do want you to afterwards take the time. And this sounds really cliche, but actually grabbing a pen and paper and just writing it out. What does the end of your year look like? When you look back, the phenomenal things in your world that you've dreamt up, you had an expectation around them. I'm not talking about how, but you knew you wanted them. All of you are here for a reason. You had an expectation you were going to show up, right? That there was going to be something today that you can grab onto that moves your world forward. And so, what do you want 2026 to look like? Take the time, get into some comfies today, tomorrow, make the time, but write it down. It's December 31st, 2026. How was your year? Right? How do you want to feel? How do you want things to look? How do you want relationships to be? How do you, I'm looking down at MJ says, I tolerated being too busy. Okay. So what do you want that to look like in 2026? Right? Because you and I both know we can all be too busy this year. And we can get to the end of the year and say, wow, that was way too busy. Okay. So again, I'm just grabbing one here. But what is that expectation for yourself? And so again, grab some prompts. 2026 was amazing. And this is not about living in a dream world. It's just getting an expectation out so you have a bit of a North Star for the year. Number two is making a daily decision. It is a decision to feel good. Just like I've made a decision in the last 6 weeks to occupy myself and avoid what I don't want to see, what I don't want to think about. Okay. That's a decision. So could I make the decision to feel good? Mm-hmm. Did I not make the decision to feel good or to just block my mind? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so just trying to be authentic with you. People want to work with, you can exchange happy to whatever you want. Call it authentic. Call it raw and real. Call it, again, it's what's your niche. But people can feel you a mile away. Horses, as we all know, can feel us a mile away. Do you love what you do? Even on your worst day, can people feel a mile away that you love what you do? I hope the answer is yes. And if not, I hope you find that passion on fire. And whatever it is you're tolerating, holding you back, you got to get rid of that. Because in this work, I truly believe you are the key to someone's lock. But the more you deal with imposter, and we all do at some point, or fear, or scrolling, or busyness, because we all have a million things in our lives, it holds us back from this place of passion on fire, which is the key to someone's lock. And they sit there locked, and then they go to a talk therapist, or they go to this, or they go to that, and they go to these places that, not saying for everybody, but for them has not been working. We know horses change lives, but we have to find the place ourselves. And so it's a daily decision to feel good, to show up, to be authentic, raw, real. And so again, you can change the word great, but you got to figure out that way to feel good. To when you show up with your clients, to be that light, to be that space where, holding that space where they want to be a part of, where they feel safe to grow, where they, feel something bigger. And then it's not about you. The horses are the guru, right? Show up authentic, show up raw, show up real, and allow the horses to step up. And so it's about inspired action. And so from a place of feeling good, from a place of passion on fire, taking an inspired action forward brings in those niche clients, those right clients, the ones that are like, where have you been my whole world, right? And maybe you've just been over here in a place that could no longer be, couldn't at the time be on the same level for them. And so it's good for you to know. And again, maybe throw it in the chat. What do you do to get and stay happy? What is it for you? And again, change the word happy if you want, but what is it for you? Some people say, oh, I really love to listen to music in the morning. Like that's my jam. Other people would say, I hate background noise. It drives me nuts. I want to think or read, right? Or whatever it is. But what is it for you? How do you get and stay happy? How do you find that place even in grief, even in loss, even in busy, even in life? Because we all have life and a lot of it. How do you find that place so that people can be a part of what you do. Number three, market in ways that you're good at, you like, and come easy to you. Okay? So we live in a very different world in marketing. We live in a very interesting social world. Um, but it's so important longevity wise that you're good at, that you like, and come easy to you. And so, anyone in the chat, what is TikTok, cold calling, podcasts, classified ads, websites, Instagram Reels, Facebook ads, marketing video, blah, 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 it goes on and on and on. Networking events all have in common. Yeah, Jennifer's saying marketing myself is the hardest part. So, Jennifer, I would push back on you and say, when you don't market yourself, who loses? Who is the ideal client that's looking for you that loses? So, Jennifer, you're absolutely right. You lose. But I don't know who your ideal client is. But let's say it's a 40-year-old woman currently in grief. And I'm out there looking for you. And you don't put yourself out because of your own stuff. And we all have it. You lose. But so do I. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a bit of a punch in the gut to realize that I'm not showing up for, yeah, so women and children. Woo, that's crazy. Yeah. When you put it in that place of there's women and children who I can help, they're not getting it because I'm not showing up, right? When we all put this onus on ourselves, we can actually step back out of it and be able to look at it from a different place. Yeah, no, this idea of expected one way of marketing. So maybe the answer will help you. So what do all these things have in common? And so for Lisa, hopefully for everybody else, they all work. Here's the thing is that marketing, sorry, I just have a few people let in here. It's, and this is going to sound super old school business and maybe a little rough, but marketing business is a contact sport. The more people you hit. Now, I'm not saying you hit everyone, because if you've been on my trainings before, you'll know it's about niche. It's about who you can actually affect change with. It's about the people that you're one step ahead of, that you have tools that can help pull them through with your incredible guru of horses. And when you find that space that you market exactly to the people you can affect change with, and so I think it was Jennifer said, women and kids, you cut through the noise. In marketing, you are the noise or you cut through the noise. And so the whole thing is that you got to find a way that you like, comes easy to you, and you got to do it all the time. And so it's about you're unique. What energizes you? I have networking events written down. If you know me, you know I hate networking events. I hate going to the business after 5 and chatting it up while everybody's awkwardly standing around pretending they care about what the other person is talking about just to get business. That being said, that's my negative view about networking events. Other people go, that's not what they see at all. They're like, I see entrepreneurs, I see people growing, I see people passionate. I want to know about what they do. I show up passionate, I grow my business. Fabulous, right? What energizes you? What makes you want to grow? What makes you want to do it? For the next person, they say, the last thing I want to do is show up on a Sunday live. I don't want to do that. Right? So what is it for you? What energizes you? Match up that inspiration and then take inspired action. Because someone just said consistency. So important that you're consistent. Because there's a thing called a secret agent. Remember back to the beginning when I said, are you with business, right? You treat it like a business, will pay you like one. If nobody knows you're in business, it's never going to pay you like one, right? And so you can't be inconsistent. And so one note I'll just give on that is that everybody's living their own lives. So if you're on social media and you say, I already posted twice this week, people are going to be so annoyed with me. People have their own life. As if they notice, oh, Deanna's posted twice this week, like she clearly needs more business. No, they have their own life. They're doing their own thing, right? The algorithm hits super funny. She could be posting 6 times a day and still barely hitting, her niche clients. So understand whether it's that or showing up at, every networking event and being awkward about it. Everybody else is running their own life. They're not that interested in you. So don't worry about over marketing because there's very few equine entrepreneurs in the world that are even close to that. Okay. So focus on that piece that you're good at, you like, comes easy to you, and nail it. And so how do you nail it? Consistency, consistency, consistency. All right. Number four, understand the power of time chunking. When I first used the slide, probably 10 years ago, maybe more, it wasn't near as relevant as it is today, which is crazy. So there's this thing called context switch. And so it's time lost when you switch from one project or one task to another. Okay. So how does this work? It's so crazy, but it's so true. So if you're working on one project, your phone is turned off. You're not looking at any other internet tabs. You have nobody in your world to bother you. You're, locked in, headphones on, whatever it is on a project. You're lost to context switch, isn't there? Okay. You're locked in. If you're working on two projects, so let's say you're marketing and your phone's turned on and your phone rings or texts or emails or Facebooks or whatever it does, and you hear that noise, okay? So then you check it, right? We're all bad for this. Then we check it because, it could be important. Well, it always could have been important, but weren't always this accessible, right? We lose in context switch because each project gets 40% and the remaining 20% is simply a loss to context switch. But that's only two. Let's get honest. We're marketing, then the phone rings. Then we better check Facebook to see if anybody's commented on that post we just made. Then, there's kids in the background and, I forgot about the horse's hay net. I better go check that. Right. And we decide to split our time and split our focus. And so as we get up to three, we're losing 40% of an hour, 40% of 60 minutes in context switch. That's only with three. And I find it really hard to believe that the average person is only doing three things at once, the potential of three things at once. I think more are definitely closer to four and five, which you're getting into 60 and 75%. And then you wonder why you sat down at your computer, you're wasting all your time because you want to be in the pasture. We all want to be in the pasture, right? And you're wondering why you feel like you got nothing done. Turn the damn phone off, right? Block everything. Tell everybody you're busy for 60 minutes. If the door's closed, unless you're bleeding or lost a limb, you got to leave me alone for an hour. Makes sense? I'm just guessing, and I'd love to know from everybody is this making sense? Let's just leave it at that. Just a yes or no. Can you see where this life of busyness, maybe we've been lying behind some excuses on it? We'll give you a sec to get in the chat because I got to make sure that I'm somewhere on because Lord knows I can get going on a tangent. Okay, perfect. We haven't even got into goal setting. I got to get this. So what's the solution? There's some tasks we have to do. Do your tasks that are like on the same day. Okay. If you're marketing, do your marketing, pick 1 or 2 days a week, do it Tuesday and Friday. And if it's social marketing, set it up. You could set it up 1 day a week and have all of your marketing done. There's tons of tools, super easy. You don't have to be tech that could all go out for you and be done. Okay. If you're doing website work yourself, pick a day. That's website day. Don't sit here and go, again, our brain's going so fast. Oh, I wanted to change the wording on my website. I now do horse facilitated development. And then you're there doing it. That's ridiculous. Right. And so it's this jumping around. Jennifer just said I have ADHD, so it's hard. I think a lot of us act like we have ADHD as well because the rabbit holes are everywhere. Right. And so I think, Jennifer, for you, but for all of us, find this place of like tasks, right? Do you have a day that you do follow up, billing? Do it on 1 day. Again, if it's computer work, maybe it's putting it together. Um, Finish a project in one sitting. Okay, I do this a lot. And so grab a timer. I have literally, again, I don't have it on my phone because that gives me a reason to be like, oh, how much time do I have left on my timer? I have an old egg timer I twist. I set it for 50 minutes. I want just under an hour because anything over that can be really, really tough. But most tasks can get done in 1 hour. You'll be so close if you're not. And what you'll find is that you can hear that little ticking. You have no idea when that thing's going to ring, but you got 50 minutes. You wouldn't believe how fast you can be. Okay, no phones, no distractions. Doors closed. Don't come in unless you lost a limb. Okay. And number find a buddy. Accountability is so, so important. So find somebody at the same place in your business. They don't need to be in horse work, but somebody who understands some of the pieces, right? The pieces of where, maybe it's, you're just getting going. It might all be about websites, right? You're further on. Maybe it's that you need some new ideas. You need someone to bounce it off, but you got to find somebody. This is Jessica in the photo here. Her and I've worked together for years. I didn't know her before I did this work, but she was at the same place and she was at the same motivation level as me. You got to find someone to be able to touch base with. It can be a call, text, email, but something that keeps you committed and something that holds your feet, someone who holds your feet to the fire. I want somebody, my very first coach said to me, Tamara, commitments are based on results. The only way, if you tell me today I'm going to have 3 new clients next week and I'm going to, whatever it is, eat clean for 5 days and have 3 new clients, I want them to say, we'll see. Because the only way they know if I made a commitment today is if I actually show up with results next week. Okay. And so find yourself a buddy on here. Maybe you see somebody, I don't know, send them a message, go into the round pen and say, hey, I've been doing this for a year. Who wants to get serious this year? Super, super important because you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. But I guarantee you, if you don't find that person or you don't engage in the round pen, you're going to feel in business by yourself real quick. It's a tough business to be in on your own. So just keep showing up, whatever that piece is. If you don't have somebody show up, like I said, find them in the round pen. We got lots going on. We do lots of lives, lots of things going on. It's about accountability will grow your business quicker than probably anything else. Okay, let's get into it. 90 days of winning. So, holy, I got to get going. It's already 30 minutes in. That was like going to be my preamble. So, 90 days of winning. Okay, so it's February 22nd today. 90 days from now is May 23rd. I don't know where you live, but that's still like beginning of the year. That's like barely spring here. May 23rd, 90 days, 13 weeks from now. I truly believe you can change every aspect in your business and your life in 90 days. We're going to talk about how, but I truly believe it. So that's that number, that's that top overarching vision. And I don't have that vision just when I show up with you guys. That's a vision period. It's a belief period. And the beautiful thing is that each of you can have the same thing. Hey, Laura, just seeing you there. Would any of you, again, let's get the chat going. Would any of you like to be able to set goals that you can feel great about, but definitely achieve? And I want to be clear, this is not about setting low goals. This is not about that at all. This is about big intentions, big goals, big targets, whatever you want to call it. And I know that some of you probably get the heebie-jeebies hearing the word goals. Change the word to what you want, but how do you want to change your life? How do you want to change your business? How do you want to change other people's lives? I don't know what your vision is, but you're here for a reason, right? So personal, business, life. Let's talk about getting goals achieved because we're all wasting our time if we're showing up and we're not finding a way to build whatever it is that we want to build. Again, life, relationships, health, wealth, whatever it is for you. Okay, so real quick, brainy goals. This is important for a couple of reasons. This is important, and you'll see why in a few moments based on how we're going to set goals. I think it's also really important based on your subconscious mind, which your subconscious mind is really bringing 95% of what you get in life. Okay. If I don't set a goal, I don't do anything. Yeah, it's huge. And we're all different, right? But burning. So the B is burning. You need to have a burning desire to achieve something in your life. There are so many distractions. We've just spent half an hour talking about distractions and context switch, right? And being somebody that other people want to be around. And so I don't necessarily want you to set the goal right now because I want you to go through the workbook and I want you to really sit and be clear that you have a burning desire. That you wake up with that fire in your belly, right? It's fire horse here. That you wake up with the fire in your belly to make it happen. This is not about how. I want to be really clear as you're setting goals. There can be a fear of like, oh, I want this, but how do I do it? I want this, but how do I do it? Right? This is not about how. We're going to get into how to set goals. But D is, do you have a burning desire? Recordable. So this is really important in what we're doing today. Can you measure your goal in specifics? Okay. Is it tangible? Subconscious needs to hear things as if they were talking to a 5-year-old. Okay. Burning, recordable. So very, very specific. Is it recordable? Achievable. Oh, this is one that I don't necessarily like because it's a bad word, because everybody reads words different, right? But does it feel on some level doable to you? I'm not saying easy. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I already know how I'm going to do that. So it's like done in 90 days, like no big deal, right? I'm saying in your gut of guts, does it maybe even sound crazy? But for some wild reason, I think I can do this. I think I can pull it off. I know I can pull it off. Okay. So whatever that is for you, you can change the wording, but is it doable? But even though it's doable, does it stretch you and expand? People will say, well, why can't I just have a goal that I know I can do? And it just kind of keeps me moving. Because you're majoring in the minors, right? And eventually, same old will never move you to a level of impact. And I firmly believe, as equine entrepreneurs, we're here to create impact. I really, maybe amongst a whole bunch of other things, but the same old will eventually get to the point of being really hard. It's like the uncomfortable comfort zone. Make sense? Okay. No nonsense. Again, this is subconscious piece. Okay. We've been taught to set affirmations and goals like I'm a wildly successful money magnet. Like, what in the hell does that mean? Right. But you read, there's lots of affirmations that sound really abstract and fabulous. Guess what? Abstract fabulous is for the conscious mind, which is 5% of what we get. The other 95% come from our subconscious mind that needs to be very, very literal, easy to understand. I always say, can a 5-year-old understand it? So simple, uncomplicated, straightforward. Okay. We want all of our self to be lined up. And why? I love this one. Yeehaw! Right? Does the thought of it achieving make you feel good? Again, that burning desire is kind of that nervous gut ready to go. I got a burning desire making this happen. But the yeehaw is like, the nicer way of saying, F yeah, we're doing this. And I'm so, it makes me feel so good. Okay. So there's your brainy goals. So this is where we get into the meat and potatoes. Outcome goals versus activity goals. And if this is your first time hearing this from me, you're going to have to come back to the recording. Don't worry, because it's the first time you've heard it, okay? But this is where the magic happens in guaranteeing that you can hit those goals, okay? So an outcome goal, I'm going to sell 10 6-week programs in the next 90 days. So if I sell 9, did I win or did I lose? I lost, right? I did not hit my goal. I said that I was going to sell 10 6-week programs. And you know what? I had 10, but then 2 of them couldn't get the money together and they need an extra 3 weeks. And I'm going to get it, but it's going to be late. Didn't hit the goal. Sorry, you didn't hit it, right? I'm going to do 50 one-on-ones in the next 90 days. Well, 48 is not 50, right? I'm going to prospect every single day for 90 days. What happens the first day you get so sick that you're throwing up that you can't pick up the phone and you can't prospect? You lost on day 12. It's an outcome goal. You didn't hit it. Meet my future wife or husband, make $100,000. Okay. Can everyone see how these are win or lose goals? Is that making sense for everybody? So we have been taught to set outcome goals and figure out the how, right? But the problem is we win or we lose. So an activity goal, make 20 Facebook posts with call to action in the next 90 days. Is that winnable? Can we guarantee a win on that? Yep. You have 90 days. You can decide when, even if it's at 100 Facebook posts. It doesn't say a Facebook post every day for 90 days, right? Now, those 20 Facebook posts with call to actions, or let's go on this for a sec. So I'm going to go to 10 networking events with people who work within my niche market. Okay. I'm going to walk X number of steps. I'm going to walk 800,000 steps in the next 90 days. Okay. I'm going to call 15 community groups who work with at-risk youth. This can go on and on and on. But can you agree that every one of these can be done? They're not tied to days. They're tied to a timeline, but they're not tied to every single day I need to do this. Every single day I have to do this. I have to sell 10 programs. Now, I want to be clear about something. Now, your activity goal, the idea is that your activity goal guarantees your outcome goal. Okay. And so if I want to do 50 one-on-ones, how many posts do I need to make? How many calls do I need to make? How many networking events do I need to make to hit that anyways? So that if I do the activities needed, maybe it's that I need to prospect 60 minutes a day, however I want, but I know if I prospect 60 minutes a day, I can sell 10 6-week programs. Or if I want to release 10 pounds, well, I know if I was just to walk, and again, this is just the cliche ones, 10,000 steps a day, I would do it. But if I only lose 8 pounds, I'm beat myself up because I only lost 8 pounds. But if my goal was never that, it was to walk 800,000 steps, which is only 80 days of walking 10,000. Can I win that goal? Can I win every day? And do I think, and again, you might say no because you have to decide how you want to release your 10 pounds. But if I believe I can do it in that number of steps, I hit my outcome goal by setting an activity goal. Is this making some sense? It takes a little bit to set in, but is it making some sense? Don't worry, we're going to get into some examples here. Okay. And so 97% of people actually set outcome goals. Okay. The problem is they're win or they're lose. Super frustrating. It can be hard to stay the course because if you said I was going to prospect every day for 90 days, as soon as you miss, there's a tendency to pick at that scab because now you missed your goal. You did not do what you said you were going to do and you've eroded your foundation, right? But if you said, I'm going to do X number of minutes in the 90 days, you can actually get ahead. You could actually take a day off and give yourself grace when you need it and speed up when you feel good about it, right? So an outcome goal always leaves you with the question, how? Okay. So when you go to set a goal, if you're left with the question, how? I want to make $100,000. How? No idea. How am I going to do that? Right? You know it's an outcome goal. If you say, I'm going to go to 10 networking events, I'm going to call 15 groups, I'm going to do 20 posts, and I'm going to do 1,000 minutes of prospecting, you've answered your how. You're going to do X. Again, I know it's totally different. It's going to take your brain around, but it's not about letting the outcome goal go. It's about doing the activities you know you need to do to get to the vision and the goal you want. So do you have to set an outcome goal first to step to it? I don't really think so. I think a vision's super important to know what the big vision is. And then it's about knowing the activities that you're committed to doing. Commitment is based on results that you're committed to doing in the next 90 days to push your business. We all know the piece. Like if I would just do this, my business would be here. We know that piece. And so it's about leaning into that. So how do you make it recordable and how do you make it winnable? So it's about setting activity goals that lead to an outcome goal. So let's go through a few just real basics. You're going to have to make it for yourself. So get 2 new clients a week. I'm going to get 2 new clients a week. Any of you hear how? I'm going to get 2 new clients a week. I'm hearing how, which to me says it's got to be an outcome goal, right? Because I either got them this week or I didn't. Okay. And so if I have a week where everybody I call and everything I do and all my prospects are out of town, I lost this week because I didn't give myself any leeway. So an activity goal over the next 90 days, come hell or high water, because I got 90 days, not just a week now, right? Over the next 90 days, I will have 26 people come meet the herd in my niche. I think it's really important to say in my niche. You can ignore the 50 people for a moment. That's just a train of thought I'll go over in a minute. But 26 people times 13 weeks, or pardon me, 2 clients a week times 13 weeks is 26 people. So it really is actually the same thing. But guess what? I have 90 days to do that. And so this week I'm feeling good. Again, it's about doing what it takes, right? So I'm going to do everything I can to get ahead of those goals, right? Because again, I'm not thinking about 2 clients a week. I know that to hit my big goal, I want 26 people to come in the next 90 days. Is that doable? Hell yeah. 26 people is not a ridiculous amount. It might feel like it when you're brand new or you have no one. Passion on fire. right? We talked about this burning desire, passion on fire. Okay, so I got to get going on this. Who could I talk to? Well, I could call the local community services. Maybe I should call the school. I've had some people that have reached out to me and they didn't get back to me, but I could go back to them. Again, what am I going to do? And you put yourself into a mindset of activity. Okay, get yourself into the activity that creates the outcome. You guys are awful quiet in the chat. I hope this is making some sense. So can you win every day? Yeah, you bet. I can take action every single day towards it. Can I win every day or every week at 2 new clients a week? Maybe. Maybe if I'm the most motivated person in the world, but maybe not. And I guarantee there'll be a week that's not your week. And when you hit the week that's not your week, you're not just behind, you're out of the game, right? So this is about being able to stay in the game. Do you have to do the activity? Yeah. Because can you lose if you decide not to do the work? Uh-huh. Come hell or high water, you think about that lady who rolls her car and her kid's stuck underneath and is able to lift it off them. There is so many stories of superhuman strength. You can do so much more than you think you can, but you're going to have to lean in. And so it's leaning into the space of, again, hell or high water. I can definitely get 26 people to come meet my incredible herd in the next 90 days. Yeah, switch from what I can do to, sorry, from what do I have to do to what I can do. Yeah, I love that, MJ. I like that articulating. So another idea. I'll do 5 posts or reels. And again, I'm not saying you should have to do posts and reels, but it's just an example if you want to do that. I'll do 5 posts or reels every week. Ah, shit, I'm going to Mexico. I don't want to waste. Again, this is just how our brains work, right? So we've just set it up saying in the next 90 days, I'm going to do 5 posts every single week. Ah, I'm going away. I don't want to have to do it while I'm gone, or the internet sucked and I couldn't do it while I was away, or I got sick or something happened and I'm down in the dumps and I just don't want to do it. And now the week's gone and I have failed. And when failure sets in, we go down, down, down. But what if because if we believe that, that consistent posting on our social media is going to help us, I don't want you to believe that if you don't want. It's an example here. Over the next 90 days, pardon me, I'll do a minimum of 65 posts and reels. Is that winnable? It's definitely winnable. How do I know that? Well, again, not everybody's watching you like crazy. So you might think, oh, I don't want to do 65. That makes me feel awkward. Okay, well, that's a whole different mindset thing. But can you do it? Yes. And guess what? This week, while you're feeling good, you could actually bang off like 10 of them. You got 7 days. Some of those days you could actually put 2 posts out a day. Could be totally different, totally valuable. Again, this is about consistency and people seeing you, right? And so you could actually get ahead this week. You could do 10, which would actually be double. So then if next week something happened and one of your horses got colicked and you needed to deal with that, and you're like, the last thing I want to do is post on social media, you would still be winning your goals that you committed. Because the whole point of winning your goals is actually not the outcome. It's being the person or becoming the person that you guaranteed you would be. That's huge. It's about doing what you said you were going to do, right? No longer tolerating what you said you wouldn't and holding yourself to that standard. Watch how quickly people come into your world when you start holding your standard to that level. So can you win every week? Well, in the first one, I would say maybe. But the first week you don't do what you said you were going to do, you can no longer win. That's the reality. You can no longer win. Okay? So if you decide to come hell or high water that you can do those 65 and you will do those 65 in 13 weeks, you can all do them. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can win that. I will sell 10 6-week programs in the next 90 days. I hear how, right? And again, this is just the line. It could be 20, it could be 3, whatever it is your goal is. But the brain is going to how, okay? You're going to win this one or you're not going to win this one. And if you know right now, oh, that's totally doable. I would set that goal. That outcome goal doesn't bother me at all because I can do that. It's not pushing you enough. That's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't get the question how on an outcome goal, your goal's not big enough. Okay? Or I will spend, and this takes a lot of getting your head around. I like to call it prospecting personally because I don't want to have to just do reels or just do networking events or just do whatever. I want to be able to get an inspired idea to call the local veterans and just do it, or have this inspired idea of seeing someone and be like, oh, I should talk to them, and just do it. Because business is a contact sport. The more people you hit, the more you will win. Okay. And so this is something I've done for years. I will spend, and this is 120 minutes a week. Okay. 1,440 minutes over the next 90 days, focus solely on prospecting. Phone off, no context switch, close the door, set your timer. That's 2 hours a week. That's all. Where would your business be if you locked out all the distractions? You got over yourself, because we all have to, got over your ego, picked up the phone, or mailed, or went on social, or showed up, face to face and talked to somebody, or, there's 1,000 different ways you can prospect. But could we not all agree? Maybe not. You have to decide your own numbers. This is just my numbers, but I know for a fact I can sell 10 programs easily if I do 120 minutes a week. Easily. I know I can do that. And again, that just happens to be the example. Can I get 2 new clients a week if I literally just focus on prospecting for 120 minutes a week? Yeah, I know that for myself, but you got to know your own piece, right? So maybe you say it should be a bit more, or you know what? I don't want to do that much. I want to do 60 minutes a week. Okay. Understand that your outcome goal that you end up with will match your activity. Okay. What's great is that you can actually do more when you're feeling good. So which is controllable? Can you still have the outcome by simply figuring out the activities to make the outcome happen? I like to take it out of business sometimes because I think it's important just to look at other life pieces. So I will release 10 pounds in the next 90 days. Okay. Well, weight's such a finicky thing. The problem is that you could do great things, feel phenomenal, be exercising, doing all these things you weren't doing in 90 days and have gained a little bit of weight and feel really shitty about it, right? And totally have wrecked the whole point of having that, all of the benefits of it. But what if you decided and understand there's a million different ways to release weight, okay? So I'm just giving typical answers. So this is just based on 10,000 steps, but I'll walk 800,000 steps in the next 90 days. Sounds crazy. It's 80 days of 10,000 steps. Now you might be a 1,000 stepper a day, or you might not use exercise at all, okay? I'm just giving an idea here. But you know what I love? I just said 80 days because that gives me 10 days that if something happens and I can't make my goal, something happens with the herd, I cannot get extra steps in. Can I still win? Yeah. Because some days I could even do like 12,000 steps. Some days I'm going to be tired. I'm only doing 8,000, right? So it's not about the 80 days. It's about giving reprieve and grace in between. So don't make it 90 days. It's okay if you, some people can. Some people are hard drivers. That's what they want to do. But this is about grace to getting to that same result. Maybe it's 70 times in the next 90 days I'll work out. And you literally tick it off your calendar. Just keep ticking. Try to get ahead on those 70 days. Not that you want to dump the last 20 days, but because you need some grace. I will eat a minimum of 80x. Okay. So that's up to you. Maybe it's salads. I don't eat salad, right? So for myself, it's steak. I will eat 80 steaks in the next 90 days. Whatever it is for you that you believe will get you to, because it's not about 10 pounds. It's about feeling great, or it's about being able to run with my grandchildren, or it's about being able to ride longer, or. Okay. 85 of the next 90 days, I will have 0 sugar. That's a big difference mentally than I'm cutting out sugar. I'm never eating it for the rest of my life. Right? A lot of us, struggle with the sugar piece, right? So, and I'm just throwing this in. It doesn't have to be 85 of the next 90. It could be 60 of the next 90. It could be 88 of the next 90. Not to say that you have to cheat twice, but if something happens, you didn't lose. You didn't miss out, and you're moving yourself forward. Okay? Or you decide what you want to do, and you find the activity that leads you to that outcome goal. I guarantee, I've been doing this for years and years and years, For every outcome goal, there's activities that are guaranteed to move you to where you want to be. If you're willing to let go of the outcome goal and focus only on the activities needed to move you to the outcome. And so, which can we set ourselves up to stretch, but definitely achieve? It's obviously the activity. And so the key is to setting that activity goal to ensure your outcome goal. You're probably going to have to come back to the recording, go through the workbook. Is it worth it? Yeah, because I'd love to see you all in 90 days. And if you've got something coming up, I have 6 weeks based on what my life right now. I have a 6 weeks. And so I have 6-week goals right now. And so take it and say, okay, I've got 42 days or I've got 60 days, right? Because if something's going on in your world, you got a wedding coming up in 50 days and you know it's going to impede, either work your days around it or just decide you want to do a 6-week. That's cool. There's no rules. The rules are fake, right? But you got to find that place of consistency. Consistency in activity goals become achievable. Okay. So the best part, you can actually win at the goals. You have complete control. Be careful of the tendency to set lower goals because somehow this happens. We set really high goals when they're outcome goals because I think a part of our brain believes we don't have to do it anyways. It's like, well, nobody expected I was actually going to make $80,000 this quarter or whatever it is. Nobody really. So we let ourselves off the hook ahead of time. But if you commit to yourself, I am walking 800,000 steps, which sounds ridiculous, but doable, and we don't do it, you really let yourself down, right? I said I was going to guarantee 120 minutes a week to introducing the magic of the horse-human connection, and I didn't do it. It feels really bad because I promised myself I would do it. And I think a byproduct of that is promising other people I would do it, right? So at the end of the week, it's really important. This is why you need a buddy. And we do have something coming out. We have a mastermind coming out that you're going to want to be a part of that is really about taking your life. We're not doing it today, but it's really about being so engaged, being in a room that's so engaged that, success is really inevitable. But at the end of right now, at the end of each week, you need a buddy. Right? You need that progress so you can ring the bell. Some of you have heard this from me before. Ring the bell is literally hashtag that and go into the round pen because you're all part of the round pen right now. Hashtag ring the bell and share your wins. Share what you've done. Share your progress because this is so measurable. And I'm going to get into this in a moment that you actually have progress. Amazing. So in a percentage towards your goals. And so how does this work? I'm only going with my examples. Understand that if they're not relative to you, you're going to do your own. And if you get stuck on how to make it measurable, reach out to me and I will help you. But I prospect 122 hours, 120 minutes a week. Okay. Literally set a timer. That's 1,440 minutes in 90 days. Okay. New clients. That's not just like calling people back. That is brand new clients I've never talked to before. Okay. So how do we work that? In week 1, if you're going to be more motivated. So it's like, okay, I do my calls or my reach outs or whatever my prospecting is, and I get to my 120, which I don't have to do 120 a week because I'm doing 1,440 in 90 days. Okay. But in my mind, I'm probably thinking 120 a week is kind of a target because that would be equal. Guess what? You get excited at the beginning and then you do 200. Why? Because you got on a roll, because you feel good. Because who doesn't want to be an overachiever at the very beginning if you happen to feel good, so that later on you reserve a little in your gas tank if you need it, right? So as an example, if you did that week 1, you did 200 minutes of prospecting because you decided to do a little more, and hell, if you only did 90, that's okay. You're not behind. It's all good. Week 1, you did 14% of your goal. You've already started winning. So it's not a win or lose. You didn't just say, well, I didn't get 2 clients, so I got a big fat 0 this week. You prospected, however that was, for 200 minutes, you're 14%. And you still got another 8 weeks ahead of you. Week 2, what did I say? 145. So you were a little bit over. You did 145. That was 10%. You're at 24% already after week 2. I don't know about you guys, but I feel really good. Maybe you don't have clients yet because we all know as you're prospecting, most clients don't show up that week. They show up in the subsequent weeks, right? If you had said today, I'm going to have 2 clients per week and no one showed up this week because you haven't done any prospecting, you're already behind, right? So you set yourself up to win. I know I keep saying this, but You wouldn't believe how many people after this will go back and set an outcome goal. So how do you calculate? I really strongly, every week you need a buddy. You got to be calculating these goals. What is the activities you're doing that is going towards that goal? So what have you accomplished so far divided by your goal is your percentage. So if it was steps, you did 120,000 steps, okay? And these are just numbers, divided by the 800,000 you said you would do. Wow, I'm 15% there already. Okay. Maybe you said I'm going to walk 50 miles in the next 90 days. Okay. How many miles have you done divided by the 50 goals, 50 miles you wanted? Okay, I'm 16%, or I'm only 3%. But you know what? I've had a hard week and I did 3%. I moved the needle. Okay. Because on a tough week in your life, moving the needle at all will be a bigger win in your life than the weeks that you push it 15% or 20%. Because you need that 3%. You need that 5%. I'm not talking about procrastination. I'm talking about the inevitable weeks that come up and something's tough and you get hit blindsided by something. But you get out and you do that mile or the step or you eat the salad or you don't do the sugar or you prospect. Maybe you can't pick up the phone, but you send out some emails because you promised you would. Nothing will move you forward in life quicker. Okay. And I love this. I literally, when I was working with a team that were employees, I made them all do this. I made them all send this to me. And this is just a picture, but it's a thermometer. 100% is at the top. 0% is at the bottom. And I would literally make them color in. Okay, I did 14% this week. Next week, okay, I did 10%. Now I'm at 24%. And so what happens is it's a built-in motivation system because when you first start, the motivation's there, right? So you go, okay, I can get 15% this week. I'm excited about my activity goals. But then as life happens, we can start to go down. But as the thermometer goes up, we get this built-in system of, oh my goodness, in this last one, what number do we have there? 80%. I don't even want to do it, but I got 20% left. I can do that. I'm over the half. I'm over the 3/4. I can get done. And so it builds in a motivation to the end where an outcome goal doesn't have it. Because when you get to your outcome goal and you say, I said I was going to make 100 grand and I'm at 17,000, never mind. I'm just going to throw in the towel. No one thought I was going to do it anyways. And you turn around with your tail between your legs, right? When your mode to getting to that 100,000 is 120 minutes of prospecting every single week, you start prospecting like right now and you work harder and you get more intent and you get clearer. I shouldn't say you work harder. You work with intention, okay, towards that because you can see the progress, okay? And so it's progress over perfection as you go along. All right, don't worry, we're real close now. So 90 days of intentional action. And so brainstorm it out, okay? Mix of business and personal. What do you want? I'm going to give you a link right away to the workbook, okay? But what do you want in the next 90 days? I strongly suggest, although you're on here for business, you jump to business and personal, okay? It's about a balance. If you've been in my Wildly and Broadly, you've been in my other programs, it's about that balance focus wheel, okay? You cannot, with a broken relationship spoke or a broken health spoke, expect your business to roll along beautifully and smoothly. Okay. And so really important to get a mix. I suggest 3. The rules are fake. You decide what it is for you, but I like 3 recordable activity goals. Pardon me. Your brain will want to do more because like, oh, this is exciting. I can do this and I can slot this in and this in and this in and this in. We're not trying to be busy. We're trying to really do the pieces that feel impact for us. You can do the next 3 in the next 90 days. Okay. Write them out as specific, recordable, brainy goals. We'll get this recording out to you later today or tomorrow. Okay. So you want to make sure you're following that. Find a buddy. Non-negotiable. You need to find a buddy. Okay. I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes afterwards if anybody wants to tag up on there. Go in the round pen and post. Okay. And say, hey, I'm looking for somebody who's at this stage and wants to mastermind with me. You don't even need to talk. You can literally text the whole thing. Okay. Super important. Send them your weekly achievement. The best part is that you can win every week as you move towards your 90-day goal. And I'm telling you, of years of doing this, the biggest wins that my employees, had because they had to do it and bring it to me were on the weeks when they got blindsided. And they would actually say, you know what? It was that little bit of effort that I did towards my goal because I didn't have to do 120 in the week, but I went out and I did 10 or I did 20. I sent an email because I couldn't the thought of picking up the phone was way too much, but I did send the email. They were the wins they needed that week. For me, and I was really honest at the beginning, I've had a really hard 6 weeks. This is the win that I needed today was to actually show up, you know, because we can all tolerate, right? We rise to the level we tolerate. And so find that buddy and ring the bell. I'm going to challenge each of you to go in the round pen and I want you to ring the bell. One thing in the last week that you did that you feel proud of. Might seem, well, this is too insignificant, or this is this, or this is that. I want you to go in, hashtag ring the bell. I will be commenting on every single one that I see. Um, and put yourself on the line, right? It's 90 days of intentional action. So find something that excites you, feels great, and makes you want to jump out of bed in the next 90 days. Okay. And so it's about setting an incredible activity goal and setting your intentions around that. So very last slide. This work works if you do. That's the whole thing. This work works if you do. We've been setting goals like this for at least 10 years. I need to go back and look. And people's outcomes started to grow exponential when they set goals they can win. And so I have no doubt that many of you are thinking, oh gosh, that was just so much information. It sounds exciting. I don't know how to do it. We'll get the recording out to you. Lean into the workbook. Here it is. I always say fortune favors, oh shoot, I'm sending it to the wrong place. Just one sec, meeting. Fortune favors the bold, braves, and the ones that show up. And so I've built this for each of you that I hope will actually take the time. I know it's a lot. It probably isn't even right now. But block off that 50 minutes. If you block off 50 minutes, I guarantee you can get through here, get your 3 activity goals set in that time block and be off to the races. And so I have nothing else today. Thank you for being here today. I love sharing this space with each of you. This work is the good work, and I feel really honored to be able to be here with each of you and share this work. So, if you get stuck on setting your activities, feel free to reach out to me. Facebook's the easiest. Just send me a private message. But I do encourage you. I want to see you ring the bell in the round pen because it's about successes. So I want to see you starting the wins today so that going forward, every single week, you win. So go find your buddy, get your ring the bell. Thank you for showing up. And I will get the recording out in the round pen so you'll be able to download it from there. So thanks everyone for showing up. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.